Hey folks, John with Complete Technology Solutions, your friend in less than lethal self-defense. All right guys, so you finally decided you're gonna spring for a Byrna. Pretty big cost, right? But which one should you really get? Let's take a look. Guys, look. Everybody out there knows I am a huge fan of anything less than lethal. And I mean any company that puts out a solid product that will defend somebody's life in a less than lethal situation, they're on the top of my list. Byrna is the OG in this business, but they come with a price tag, guys. We all know that. Well, with quality comes price. We also know that. But what do we actually get for the money we're spending? So today, here's what we're going to do. We're going to head-to-head three of the most popular Byrnas. So this is the Byrna LE. You've seen, which you actually saw the video that we did on the LE, and I'm going to throw a link up here if you didn't. This is the Byrna EP, which is also one of their new models. And once again, if you didn't see that video, I'll throw a link up here. And this is the Byrna HD. Now, guys, I have had this HD since they came out. I love the HD. I always did. And I'll show you why here in just a second, but we'll get to that in a minute. So our goal today is pricing, all right? So going from cheapest to most expensive would probably look like something like this. So your EP'd come here, your HD or SD would come here, and then, of course, your LE would be on the end here on the high end of the prices, but are you actually getting what you're paying for? So let's find out. So today what we're going to do is we're going to test a couple things. I want to talk to you a little bit about one advantage right off the bat that the LE has over the other two. And then we're going to do a test for accuracy, and we're going to do a test for power. Now, since we have to test these all the same, and the EP has got no safety on it, that means we have got to test first shot on every one of these on fire out the chamber. That's the only way to be fair with this thing. That's going to give the LE a disadvantage because if you guys remember on that last video, when we charged that cylinder and then fired that first shot, it came out like a cannonball. So I'm kind of curious to see what it comes out, you know, doing it this way. So, all right, first thing we're going to look at. Now, on the EP and on the HD and the SD, one of the biggest drawbacks of these guys is the 8-gram CO2 cartridge. Now, this used to be a lot bigger deal than it actually is now because that is a standard 8-gram seltzer cartridge. And I'll have links to this down in the description below for you guys. They're very cheap, they're readily available, and you don't have to worry about finding those anymore or buying Byrna branded cartridges. But it did also give you less shots, which also brings me to another point. The 5-round magazines that were initially included in this limited you to 5 shots. If you hot loaded, and they highly suggested that you didn't do that, you would be able to get another round in there because you take your 5 rounds, load it in, it would lock one in the chamber, drop it out, put another ball in there, and then put it up in there. That did cause the occasional cracking of pepper balls because there was a constant high pressure against it. And they also warned that it could also cause other failures, but I never saw any of those myself. But limitation on rounds was a problem. Now, the LE ships with a 7-round magazine right off the bat. And here's the kicker. The 7-round magazine on the LE that it comes with is compatible with all of their other launchers. All of the magazines are compatible with the other launchers. So, yes, you can buy a 7-round magazine from Byrna that will fit your original launchers if you've got one of the older units. So, here's what we're going to do, guys. I'm going to go ahead. You don't have to watch this. If you want to watch the videos on every single one of these, I've got them up there. I am going to load these things up, and then we're going to go out on the range and take a couple of shots. I want to check speed first. We'll check accuracy second. One other thing I would like to point out, when it comes to the Byrna HD, and like I said, I've had this HD for years. If you look at the triggers on the Byrna EP, it's got like almost like a paddle trigger straight down there. Same thing over here on the LE. And by the way, for those wondering, yes, this is actually an SD that actually has that same paddle trigger on it. Now, one thing that I always loved about my HD was the curvature on that trigger. See how that's curved? So instead of having a paddle there, it was actually curved so you could fit your finger in there properly. They kind of went away from that. I mean, I kind of understand why, but I like that design, and I always kind of did. So not going to affect performance or anything else, but that's a quirk. I just wanted to let you know about that. All right, load them up. See. All right, guys, so before we go out to the range, there's something else, another question that I get. We get a lot of older viewers on here, and one of the biggest questions is, can they pull the trigger, or how tough is that initial trigger pull if you don't have a safety on a Byrna? And that is a very good question, because a lot of people don't have enough strength in their hands to pull the 7 to 12 pound trigger pull. So let's take a look at it. I have one CO2 cartridge in each one of these. Now we're going to start going from lowest price to highest price, so from the EP, and we're going to pull the trigger on the initial shot and see how much it takes to actually pull that trigger. All right, so lining up here, as you can see, we are at 0, and I'm pulling 8 pounds, 7 ounces. Now the secondary shot should be considerably less, guys. Let's clear that. Here we go. And clear. There we go. Pulling. 7 pounds. Clearing. 8 pounds. And pulling. 6 pounds. 8 pounds. All right, so we're looking at 7 to 8 pounds of pressure per pull on the EP. That includes the initial shot. So basically it doesn't vary that much. It's always going to be about the same. But I can tell you guys that with that paddle trigger, that is very, very easy to pull. You can see the amount of air that's coming out of the top of that. That's an 8-gram cartridge. That's called well designed. Nice. All right, so let's do the same test. We're going to test this on the Byrna HD. There you go. And as you can see, we've got her on fire. Let's go ahead and reset this. All right, clearing. And we are pulling now. 7 pounds, 3 ounces. 8 pounds, 1 ounce. 7 pounds, 2 ounces. You guys can see me slipping off this. Sorry about that. It's not intentional. 8 pounds. It's because of that curvature in the trigger that I like so much. It's causing the guide to kind of slip off of it. So, but once again, exact same area. So you're in that 8 pound range. Now, will the new LE also have that kind of pull? Let's find out here together. All right. Pulling. That was 9 pounds, 5 ounces. And you hear how quiet that was, guys? That first shot at 50%, I'm willing to bet we're going to see that on the range. But let's try it now. Let's see what we get now. All right, pulling. Oh, yeah, that's much better. 4 pounds, 4 ounces. 4 pounds, 2 ounces. 5 pounds, 7 ounces. 4 pounds, 7 ounces. Guys, that is a lot lighter. Look here. That is a lot lighter. You know, all right, I'm not going to tease Byrna about that, but that's kind of interesting. All right, let's get out to the range. Here we go. Okay, guys, so as you can see, we're set up on our range here. Still have that Scully that we drilled into back there, by the way. Oh, and the new Scully is ready. I'll show him to you here in just a second. He's not getting used on this video because I have something in mind for him, and it's going to be bad. Yeah. So, all right. So starting in order, guys, we're going to use the Byrna SD. This is the what they call their EP, okay, or essential pistol. Cost effective here. So we're going from least expensive to most expensive in this test. We've got 5 rounds in here and a brand new CO2 cartridge, okay? So let me back behind here. And I want to try to give you guys a very clear view of what we are shooting at. Hopefully we'll get some good readings right off the bat. All right, glasses on, and here we go. All right, so this is going to be EP test 1. Got an error on that one. 297, 296, 291, 287, and we should be out. And we're out. All right, so as you guys could see, there you go. All right, as you can see, we're hitting in that 300 range. So that 280 to, my guess is that first shot was probably a little over 300 had I hit the sweet spot. All right, so let's go. We're going to do the exact same test. This is the Byrna HD. Now, this was my original Byrna. I have had this for years, and I have put a ton of rounds through it. So we're going to put it on fire, and we're going to fire just like we did on the other one, and let's see if we can stay in that same range. Here we go. 170, 280, 286, 287, 287, and we should be out. And we're out. Now, guys, did you notice something about that? That is very interesting test results. So, when we fired the first round, they advertised that the first round will come out at half velocity, which means that what you saw, that 170, was actually what you got on that first round. And then you will notice it ramped up heavy after that. Well, that's the thing about doing it like this. Somehow on that EP, they managed to have solved some of that problem because they came out at a high velocity right off the bat. So, all right, let's see if our LE does the same thing. So now we're going to test our LE. We got it on fire, as you guys can see. And let's see what we get. We turned our mask sideways. Poor Scully. Let's see what we can get out of this one. Okay, guys, I can tell you that felt like the 170, 180, even though we didn't get a reading. So let me try it again. Now we're full power. 445. 361. 349. 356. 352. 342. And out. Seriously. Seriously, guys. All right, you know what? Hold on a second. All right, so somebody had asked me another question about this too. Somebody was asking on the second magazine. Now, we fired 7 rounds out of the LE there, and as you can see, it stayed extremely consistent. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to load in 7 more rounds. So that essentially means we will have fired a grand total of 15 rounds because I fired one time with nothing in it. So let's see if we're still getting velocity. Now, you guys will notice that we did get that strange reading right off the bat. I can tell you that first one went down range slower. I mean, I can physically tell you that. I can feel it, that it felt like it actually went down slower. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and get behind here. And this is going to be round number 8 that we're firing. No, 9 that we're firing right now. 9. 3. Error. Okay. 302. 303. 296. 294. 282. And out. All right. By the way, for those who are wondering what we're actually testing with, these are the 3-gram balls from Byrna that we actually got. You guys remember, I weighed these out. They all weigh exactly 3 grams all the way across the board. So as you can see, you saw what the LE did. Tell you what, let's go back in the office. I want to discuss another thing about these. It's kind of interesting. Here we go. So what do you think, guys? I mean, let's be honest here. You couldn't go wrong with any of these. They're all going to be fantastic self-defense weapons. But you can see the evolution as far as the age of the weapon and how they work and how they fire. For instance, the EP, you could tell that whatever they did structurally, internally, did cause that first round to come out with more than half velocity. It was actually coming out pretty hot. Whereas on the HD, you guys could actually see that the first round, you could hear it, was actually firing at a lower rate, and then it ramped up to where it should be firing in that, high 3 range. Whereas the Byrna LE, same difference. First round, you could hear it. It was quiet. So I don't know what they changed between the two of these to make this one fire a whole lot hotter right on fire than this one does. Now, granted, you put this on fire, you charge it, there's no comparison. It blows this one out of the water. Now, trigger pull. Guys, that LE has got a beautiful trigger pull. It is very, very light and very responsive, and you could tell they did that also for a purpose. And I mean light as in terms of 30 to 50% lighter than its closest competitor, which would be the EP. Now, the EP trigger, guys, look, I still have one charged in there. It's not hard, but it is definitely noticeably harder than the LE. The LE is that's glass smooth. So you can see what they were going for. And in this particular case, I would say that you're definitely going to get what you're paying for. Now, where would I go with it? All right, look. if I am on a budget, and I'm talking in that $200 to $300 range, and I want something that is less than lethal to defend myself, and I did not want to look at like a Humorex weapon that are larger, like the big revolvers or the HTP 50 modified or something like that, and I didn't want to have to modify anything out of the box, there is no exception. I would most assuredly go with the EP. This is a home run for them. This has been a fantastic weapon since the second I fired it. Once again, it's called the Byrna SD EP, which is the essential pistol. Now, there are no frills and whistles, guys. Don't let this fool you. It doesn't come with that. This is going to arrive to you in a cardboard box, but it is going to be great, and it's going to work great right out of the box. So now, if I did have the little extra to spend, and I wanted the creme de la creme, once again, not buying any other launchers and modifying them, because you can mod a weapon to do what this one does. But straight out of the box, there's no exception for this. I mean, I haven't found a single thing about this I didn't like. 12-gram cartridges. And number one, I am one that keeps my weapon on safe. So I will charge it on safe and then go straight to fire for that 461 first round. But you guys saw what this thing was cranking out after that first round. There is no question that's a beast. And you get the 7-round magazines. The trigger pull, super light. Super, super light. I definitely would recommend that over all of the rest of them. That trigger pull is unlike any other one we have out there. That is really reminiscent of that Saber that we did. That had the same real super light trigger pull that I really, really liked. And you can see why they went that route. So for the money, I would say definitely go with the EP. If you've got the money to blow, I would say definitely go with the LE. Leaving my poor little HD in the dust. But it ain't leaving my hand. I have got a big one coming for you guys, and I cannot tell you what it is. By the way, if you made it to this point in the video, thank you. You guys are the troopers and the ones that are like truly dear to me, and I mean that literally. A lot of you know that I started the second channel. You'll notice I've got a mini PC up here. I had a whole series on trying to find one of these to play my retro game systems. But something else. If you would like to see a Grimberg gavel on this channel, and I know I've been teasing you with it, and yes, I see your emails. I know you guys want to get one. For some reason, and I don't know if it was a bad experience on Grimberg's part or if they're just like so slammed they can't even breathe, I cannot seem to get them to send one. I don't want to buy one because if I do, then I feel like my opinion would be biased, and I don't want that. I want a straight out of the box true opinion for you guys. So if you would, head over to their YouTube channel, and I'll put a link to it down here, and just let them know in the comments that you'd like me to see one. I mean, I have written in their comments several times. A lot of you guys are already over there, but I'd love to get one on the channel, and this is what I want to put it against. This thing is a beast out of the box. I think the Grimberg could win. I don't know because I haven't seen one, but I think so. Have a great week, guys. Bye-bye.